This is Top Accurate Global News Update. I am Abiodun Mohammed. Russia's Wagner Mercenary Group is no longer participating in any significant capacity in support of combat operations in Ukraine, a Pentagon spokesman has said. It comes weeks after the group's short-lived mutiny in Russia, a challenge to President Vladimir Putin's authority. Wagner has fought some of the bloodiest battles since Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine last year, but Putin now appears to have hinted that Wagner has no future in Russia. Putin added that this difficult issue of how to legalize Wagner fighters should be discussed in parliament. Under the deal that ended Wagner's 23rd to 24th June rebellion, the mercenaries were told they could join the regular Russian army or head to Belarus with their chief, Yevgeny Prigozhin. But earlier this week, the Kremlin revealed that Putin had met Prigozhin and senior Wagner commanders in Moscow on 29 June, just days after the mutiny. At a briefing on Thursday, Pentagon spokesman Pat Ryder said that at this stage, the US military saw no evidence of Wagner playing any significant role in fighting in Ukraine. A Tunisian judge freed two prominent political opponents of President Kais Saied nearly 5 months after they were arrested on suspicion of plotting against state security. Their lawyer, Monia Buhali, told newsmen Chaima Issa and Lazar Akremi were released on Thursday following their detention in February, along with 20 other political leaders in a crackdown on the country's opposition. Both were charged with conspiracy against state security. Issa is a leader in the Salvation Front, the main opposition coalition to Saied, which has organized protests against him over the past 2 years. Akremi, the lawyer who served as a minister after Tunisia's 2011 revolution, has been a prominent critical voice against Saied. Before the judge's verdict, dozens of prisoners' families protested near the court in Tunis, holding up pictures of the detainees and calling for their release. After her release from prison, Issa chanted, in quote, "Down with the coup, down with Kais Saied." The appeal court judge rejected the team's request for the release of other political opponents. Canada has unfrozen talks with Turkey on lifting export controls on drone parts after Ankara gave its nod for Sweden to join NATO. A person familiar with the talk said the move seen as one of several concessions won in exchange for the Turkish blessing. President Tayyip Erdogan's green light, which ended more than a year of opposition to Sweden's membership bid, came as a surprise even to allies at home who had supported him in demanding Stockholm first take steps against groups deemed terrorist by Ankara. Erdogan's decision, announced ahead of a North Atlantic Treaty Organization summit in Vilnius, was followed quickly by a statement from Washington that the United States would move ahead with a transfer of F-16 fighter jets in consultation with Congress. In a potentially significant move for Turkey's defense industry, NATO member Canada agreed to reopen talks on lifting export controls on drone parts, including optical equipment. The person familiar with the talk said, declining to be identified because they were not authorized to discuss details with media. Canada suspended the export of some drone technology to Turkey in 2020 after concluding the equipment had been used by Azerbaijan's forces fighting Armenia in the enclave of Nagorno-Karabakh. Those export controls, which in quotes were imposed for important reasons, remain in place, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's office said in a statement. Workers at Britain's number 2 airport, Gatwick, will strike for 8 days at the end of July and in early August, potentially causing cancellations and travel misery for thousands of passengers at the busiest time of year for summer holidays. The United Trade Union said around 950 workers, including ground handlers, baggage handlers, and check-in agents, will work out in a pay dispute for 4 days from July 28 to August 1st, and then another 4 days from August 4th to 8th. Gatwick, which is located about 30 miles south of London, said it will support airlines with their contingency plans to ensure flights operate as scheduled. A key hub for leisure flights to southern European beach destinations, EasyJet, TUI, and British Airways all operate hundreds of daily flights. EasyJet has already asked 2% of its summer flight schedule, mostly from Gatwick, over concerns that air traffic control issues will impact its schedule. Thailand's election-winning Move Forward Party announced on Friday it planned to try to curb the power of the military-appointed Senate a day after its members thwarted the party leader's bid to become Prime Minister. The role of the 249-member Senate in deciding a Prime Minister, along with the elected lower house, a system designed by the royalist military, after a 2014 coup is seen as a constitutional safeguard to protect the interests of the generals and the conservative establishment. Despite being unopposed and with the backing of his 8-party alliance, Move Forward's Peter Lemjarorat lost the crucial vote on the premiership on Thursday after the Senate and parties of the outgoing army-backed government closed ranks to deny him the top job. Only 13 senators backed 42-year-old Peter, with the rest voting against him or abstaining, which his party said indicated some were acting under duress. Peter, a Harvard-educated liberal from the private sector, has won huge youth support for his plan to shake up politics and bring reforms to sectors and institutions long considered untouchable. That is the size of top accolade global news update. You can follow us on our social media platforms as displayed on your screen. Happy weekend.